Good evening, y'all. Good evening. Good evening. I'm looking mighty raggedy because first of all, I'm getting ready to go to bed. But before I went to bed, I just want to just share some things with y'all, whatever. So first of all, thank y'all for tuning in to another segment of Message 10. Um, I have been thinking throughout the day, you know, some things from my past, how God has made a way for me, you know what I mean, brought me out of. So anyway, and I was like thinking, just sitting here, I said, you know what? I did vow to my audience that I will, be delivering messages via the word, the Bible, my experiences, etc. So as I was sitting here thinking about, some experiences I had, whatever. I'm like, you know what? Let me go live. I want to talk to my community, my family, my people, my peeps. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna, take this time to, to talk to y'all, whatever. So anyway, like I said, I have so many things to be grateful for. God has made so many ways for me, as I'm sure he has done for a lot of us. I know many of y'all can definitely resonate. God is just so good, and He always making a way for us. All right. But anyway, this story I want to share with y'all. I was thinking about when I was staying in Macon, Georgia. Um, I will have to go all the way back because wow, it's a long story. But anyway, when I was staying in Macon, Georgia, and I was dealing with a Jamaican guy at the time. Me and him, we kind of rushed into a relationship or whatever, which we really shouldn't have done because it was always advised by hospital staff for us not to do it. And when I say hospital staff, I had a breakdown, a nervous breakdown back in, let me see, 2020. I'm going to say it was around maybe 2018, between 2018 and 2019. So anyway, I had a nervous breakdown. I was staying in homeless shelter in Macon, Georgia, and what happened? Okay, before I had to break down, I was staying in the shelter with some other females or whatever, and I had gotten into it with one of the other females, and then another female that would like hang out with me. She was like threatening the girl. So anyway, they ended up escorting us out of there. Up, we wasn't really up the property yet, but anyway, and then they called the police because the girl called the police because she was like, well, she threatened me or whatever, and down there they are very like, I mean, they crazy with the law, okay? But anyway, the police arrived or whatever, and that's when I had my nervous breakdown. I'm not gonna lie, my nerves were so bad. I embarrassingly I wet myself. hmm and I just couldn't stop shaking, and I was kind of like, I don't know. I think I was going into convulsions. I'm not sure, but anyway, I was panicking real bad. So I ended up. They took me to a hospital. Um, I forgot, but anyway, they took me to the hospital, and they have like a psych ward. Okay, and I thought that I was gonna be like on that wing at the psych ward. However, they didn't have no more room, so they had to ship me out to one of they a real like it wasn't a hospital. It was a crazy house basically. I mean, if I just want to be real. But anyway, I was shipped off, and I ended up spending like a week there because, like I said, I had a nervous breakdown and everything. So when I get that bed or whatever, or when I would get that bed, thank God I haven't had no episode like that in years. But anyway, I would need to be like uh what you call it? Institutional, not institutionalized, but hospitalized. Okay. So anyway, so I was in the facility in the home, whatever, And so it's a bunch of patients. Some of them like way off. I've seen them do the I was gonna say PRN, but anyway, where they acting out way crazy or whatever, and they will shoot them like in the butt or whatever, and next thing you know they drop. I mean, I have seen this, and I'm like, oh God, I'm glad I'm not that bad off. But I was a little, you know what I mean. So anyway, I need attention and all that. So anyway, in the hospital stay or whatever, they would tell you like things to do and things not to do. You already know the thing to do is be current on your meds. Constantly take your meds or whatever. They would do like exercise with us, recreation, just different things or whatever. Mm, I got something to share with y'all for my second visit or whatever. Anyway, that's that later. But anyway, and they would always say one of the things for us not to do, and they would advise us, like, don't get into a relationship with either one of the residents or anyone else because it's not healthy for you. And that's just like with somebody who's trying to get off of drugs or whatever. You don't use things that or be around things that will make you weak, the temptation or whatever, because it cause you to relapse and all the other stuff or whatever. So it was advised of us to not, hook up or whatever. But lo and behold, we ended up hooking up. Let me see. We After the week, I left that hospital. They shipped me to another place, which was like a dorm, and this was in Riverdale, Georgia. So this is where people would stay or whatever if they don't have anywhere else to go, and it's kind of like a college dorm or whatever. So while you're there getting your treatment, you can go to these classes or whatever. So anyway, it was kind of like a school or whatever. Um, what happened? So he got out behind me, not behind me, but so like maybe like a week after me. So he was a little worse off than I was. And when he got out, you know what I mean, we linked back up, we talking and whatever, whatever. So he ended up relapsing, going back to, the drug house, using the drugs that he was using or whatever. I What happened? I continued with the school and everything. And when I left there, I was like, like I said, we had already been talking, and I was very much attracted to them. I love me some Jamaicans, okay? I love me some Dandadas, okay? But anyway, so one thing led to another, and I was, like I said, homeless at the time, but I was still receiving my SSI benefits or whatever. So anyway, we had agreed to get us a place together, a hotel room, to rent a hotel room. Uh, um, you know, we wanted to go back to Macon with it, so I moved back to Macon. We rented a room together, and we were together. But anyway, um, I remember that. Okay, let me see. Like a couple of doors down was another tenant or whatever, and he would always be out there, and he would be drinking with him, different stuff or whatever. Now, mind you, like I said, you do your behaviors or whatever. If you're not strong enough, you're not completely healed or whatever, you relapse and you go backwards. And that's exactly what he did. He went backwards, but at that time, I was not strong. I wasn't completely healed myself, and I was like, you know what I'm saying, very what's called low energy. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all familiar with that, but low energy. So I didn't really have a lot of confidence. I was still in it, and at that point, I was like, I just want a man. You know what I'm saying? Negative or not, whatever. I just want to be a man. I just need to be around me. I just need a man in my life and all that stuff or whatever. So that was one of my biggest weaknesses. Okay. So what happened? Like I said, he'd be down a couple of doors down or whatever, hanging out with the man or whatever, and then he would disappear. Okay. And of course, I'm like, I don't know, but I know he was kind of like whorish, if you will. But it's like, okay, I'm still sticking it out with you. I'm still being with you because I ain't got nothing else. I ain't got nobody else. I'm homeless. It's like, okay, I got to make this work. Thank you for the love. I got to make this work. So I did, even though it drained me, even though it hurt me, even though it caused me to lose more of my own identity. I still dealt with it. Okay. So, we would do this thing like kind of like tick for tack. He'll disappear and I'll be in the room looking out the window for him or whatever, just, heartbroken. And then next it'll be my turn. So he'll be in the room and I'll go out. I don't go off with nobody, whatever, but I was playing games like, I would go and hide or go around the corner or whatever, just because I want him to come out looking for me or whatever. To me, that says, oh, well, he do care. You know what I mean? Because he's looking for me. He's jealous, whatever. So, yeah, I would play little games like that. I'm not going to lie. So, I remember one night I did it. The hotel, it was kind of like a rundown hotel. It was, yeah. But anyway, imagine in the deep south, dust, everything is just, you know what I mean? Kind of grimy. So anyway, the hotel is like some of the rooms they fix up, and then some of the rooms they just left, just whatever. But they wouldn't have locks on the doors, okay? So anybody can go into those places and just be there, just sleep, you know what I'm saying? Homeless people and everything. I was very risky with my behavior. Mm. Once again, playing games. And I am so grateful to God because I remember this night, I went into the room, one of the rooms, and it's pitch black, dark, no light nowhere. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know what? I want to make him jealous. I'm going to go in this room. Do you know that anything could have happened to me? And it dawned on me now when I look back, like, I was really doing some silly stuff, y'all. I was being silly, but I was covered. Amen. God is so good. I was covered even then, even not being righteous, even not being saved, even not being, practicing the faith. You know what I mean? But God had me covered even then. So I definitely have a whole lot to thank Him for. So I can picture that night like it was yesterday. I'm sitting in a pitch black room, and the only light is the light, the strike from the strike of my lighter, because I had lit my I was smoking weed at the time. I lit my blunt. That was the only light. Do you know it could have been a straggler in that room just laying waiting? You understand? Could have kidnapped me. Could have killed me. I could have been hurt. I could have been raped. Anything could have happened. But God is so good. God is so good. He had me covered even then. I don't know. I think I stayed like about an hour in the room, trying to wait it out to see if he'll, come walking past it. I don't think he ever did. So anyway, I ended up, of course, going back into our room or whatever, and what I'm saying, rested the night away. Everything was okay. But I'm just saying, what could have happened to me? I mean, I was so blessed, and then to just think, I was way away from home, way away from family. I didn't have no family around me. I didn't have no family around me. I didn't have anything. You understand what I'm saying? So if anything would have happened to me, nobody would have known anything. You understand? So again, God is so good, y'all. I mean, I have to, with everything in me, be grateful to Him for what He has done, for what He's doing, for what He will do. I have to be grateful, y'all. God had His hands on me even then. Y'all know God is so merciful. Listen, listen. And I mean, I just do stuff. Another time, oh, I was going to say, y'all. Um, Another time, I ended up. What happened? Okay, yeah, the same guy. We ended up throughout our relationship, we would be fighting, and he, what I'm saying. Well, no, 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 no. Let me rephrase that. We would be arguing all the time, so it wasn't physical. Not until one night. Um, what happened? What happened? How did that go? Anyway, I was living in this basically abandoned home. Okay, yeah, I was pretty bad. You would think that I was using drugs, but no, I just had like a bad mental case going on. Okay, But I was living in this abandoned home. This one woman, she was renting the place or getting ready to rent the place or whatever, but they were still working on it. So, but she wanted me to stay in the place or whatever so that I can occupy it to keep it where somebody, no one else would get it, if that makes sense. But anyway, so what happened? I think my lights got turned out. You know, we had the meter thing, if I'm saying it right, where we pay as we go. You know what I'm saying? We'll pay so much on the lights and get so much or whatever. But anyway, we had ran out of funds. My lights, it had ran up or whatever, and you know I didn't have no more lights, so I had to go and stay with him because, oh my God, men are dirty. No ninjas, and y'all know not with the J, with the G. Okay, dirty. That particular one, okay? I mean, you laying up on me all this time. You ain't paying rent. You ain't paying this lady nothing. You ain't helping out with nothing or whatever. And I was silly. I was a fool because I allowed it. I allowed it. Just, just pick with me, baby. Yeah, I was messed up. You know what I mean? Anyway, thank you guys because he delivered me. I'm so, yeah. Yeah, I'm telling it. Yeah, I'm telling it. I'm not ashamed. It happens. It takes a fool to learn. Well, it takes a fool to learn that love don't love nobody. Yeah, I was a fool. Anyway, he ended up one day. I was like, well, and we were arguing. I'm like, help out with something, and then he would rather leave and go somewhere else and have to pay rent or whatever, rather than help me out. So anyway, he did that. He was in the room. When my lights went out, or whatever, I went over to his room or whatever and stayed a couple of nights. I kid you not, on like that second night or whatever, what happened? We got into it. Um, I think I pulled the knife on him, and then I ended up cutting myself. Okay. The police came, put me away from, put me out from there. I had to go back home in the dark and all this stuff or whatever, which, okay, I was strong enough. I did it. I would cry, but I made it through. Okay. We have like a few, I'm not going to say a few, we had several incidents where that would happen and where we would like argue and this and that, and I would get ready to, I put a knife or whatever. So anyway, this one particular night, I was in the kitchen. This is over at his room. So you know how you in our rooms or whatever. So he got room, but you still have access to the kitchen and the bathroom or whatever. So I was in the kitchen and I'm sitting at the stove and I'm cooking. And well, that's one of the things that I enjoyed with him because we would cook together, we'd do a lot of things together, whatever. But we didn't really get along. He was a Leo, and I'm a Leo. He's a male Leo, and I'm a female, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. All this time I was just talking. Oh, they say I can't hear you. Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. I've been talking my butt off, and I just share like so much, so much. You know what? Okay. So I just have to share that another time. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna get rid of this live or whatever. So if y'all interested and y'all want to hear whatever, check back with me another time, and I'll just make sure that everything be working. You know, I have my microphone turned on. Maybe it powered out. Maybe it needs to be charged. So I don't know. I'll just make sure that I charge it all up, and I'll do it right next time. So I apologize, y'all, but like I was saying, basically, you know, I've been through a lot, you know, being in and out of mental institutions or whatever, and just seeing like different things or whatever, hooked up with the wrong person or whatever, and I don't know, I don't know what it is that you didn't hear. So, like I said, I'll just do this live over, okay? But anyway, thank y'all for tuning in, okay? God is good. He delivered me. He got me out of there, okay? When I was on the edge of losing my life several times, okay? I put myself at risk several times. And I'm just grateful, okay? So, excuse me. But, yeah, y'all, this is your girl, Pretty Baby, and this is message 10, and I'm going to do it again, okay? Together we going to win. This is a community. It's about connecting, okay? It's not about the likes. It's not about the views. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the clout. It's about the connection, okay? I want to connect with people. I want to connect to people, okay? There are a lot of people out there in the world who can, you know, probably resonate with me, who can probably relate to my circumstances, you know what I'm saying? Who can probably use what I bring, you know. I was reading a caption or whatever on one post earlier here on YouTube, said that you are the resolution to someone's dilemma. Okay, that's what I want to do. You know, I've always said that I want to reach back and I want to heal. I want to help to heal. You understand? Even if I can't do it at all, but it's somewhere. You know what I mean? Maybe I can share a word of encouragement. Maybe I can inspire somebody. Maybe I can help somebody. You know what I mean? I want to do that. I want to. You know what I mean? I want to give back. I want to do what I can do. But anyway, most thing that God used me, okay? And I feel that he is definitely using me through my circumstances, through my experiences, all of that, okay? Nothing happens by chance, okay? Everything happens for a reason. And God let me know that I've been through a lot of things for a reason so that I can share with somebody else, right? As the Bible says that we are overcome by each other's testimonies, okay? So when we experience things, it's not just for us. It's not for us to just hold on to those experiences or, you know what I mean, whatever, you know, and not share them, because somebody else may need to know, how did you heal, what to do, how does that go, you understand? So somebody else can use that, you know. I lost my thought. I forgot what I was about to say, but yeah, that's it. We gotta share, y'all. We gotta share. And I'm about to go in a whole nother different direction, but I'm gonna save that. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Like I said, I just wanted to say, you know, feel the things or whatever before I go to bed. So I'm about to go to bed, and if it's God's will, I'll see y'all tomorrow. And I will work on my devices so that I can deliver my messages properly. Okay? How about that? Thank you. Okay, and thank y'all for letting me know that the sound is off. That was my mistake. I didn't have my stuff charged up all the way, so I apologize. But I'll make up for it, okay? I'll make up for it. Okay? Again, thank y'all for tuning in to Message 10. And like I said, we're going to always do it again. Again and again and again, okay? God bless. Peace.